Now, if you're as obsessed with the Life is Strange franchise game as I am, then I bet you're wondering how this could possibly live up to the incredible predecessor and feature characters in it any way as awesome as Chloe and Max. Well, let me reassure you, you have nothing to worry about. And here next to me is Jamie, who's also played the first episode of Life is Strange Season 2, Episode 1.
Yeah, I love that first game. I was one of those people like, I love that first game.
Yeah.
It had problems, but I love that first game. I feel like I'm also, I was one of those games that it resonated. And I think that's kind of, it's really strange to talk about in kind of this world where video game stories are, they're kind of good, but mostly not great. But it was one of those ones that really kind of stuck with me, which I really was surprised about.
Right. So this is an episodic narrative game where you choose your own adventure, basically, and it's a 1 of 5 is out now, and they sort of drip feed as that comes. And essentially, this is a massive franchise that it's award-winning, and it has a huge reputation for really setting the precedent and the standard, similar to Telltale Walking Dead games. For
Rest in peace.
Yeah. For being really famous for the emotional connections, like the players and the characters alike in the titles. And I guess I was worried how they would carry off from the finale of the first game. So where we left off is pretty much the ultimate decision, right? Shed a tear, I'm not gonna lie to you. Do you save Chloe and forsake the whole town? Or do you go back in time and let her die in the initial bathroom scene? And in doing so, do you save Arcadia Bay from disaster?
Well, that's pretty obvious. I chose the Bay over the Bay.
Hey!
But I don't know, like, I think kind of the setup of this game that I like is that it's basically, they've set it up now, it's not so much a continuation of Life is Strange, even though there's one particular moment where it's like, it does kind of reflect what you chose, but
it does.
For the most part, they've set up of Life is Strange 2 is it's an anthology. So
I'm so excited that it doesn't really carry on.
Because let's just say if it was a particular choice that Life is Strange 2 decided to go with, even though they've decided to go with this in a comic book series now, I don't think I would be here with you right now. I would be very angry and be like, no, this is just not what I want. But again, I think that's kind of the decision that I like, is that they've gone in sort of an anthology direction where you're playing as these 2 Mexican-American kids.
Yes. So diversity is a really massive theme in the Life is Strange franchise, and it's really great that they've continued that with these Mexican brothers. And they're living in suburban Seattle, 2016, and there's a lot of political references and
there is a character, there is a conversation in the game which kind of refers to a specific line saying he's going to win, isn't he? And I don't think I have to explain who the he is in that situation.
They touch on immigration issues because they are obviously Mexican, and I think it's really great that they bring into life some really relatable topics.
Yeah, and just even kind of going on across the town, the writing for the most part is a lot better. Like there is still some cringe. There is still, like, if you're not, let's put it this way, if you weren't a big fan of of Life is Strange 1 and not so much Before the Storm, it hasn't improved that much, but it is better. The references are much more culturally relevant, at least much more contemporary. Like, there's a character in the first 5 minutes that refers to another character as, quote unquote, a thirsty bitch. But for the most part, like, the character writing is a lot stronger. Like, there's all the text messages you get from your characters are now just,
and all their friends and
they're
stuff.
Really good. Like, they're generally, like, wow.
It paints a really great contextual picture behind the scenes as you play Sean and his brother Daniel. And the dynamic between the 2 is beautiful. You sort of see their relationship flourish and grow as you progress in the game, and without spoiling the story, which I really don't want to do because you really need to experience it for yourself. You go on this journey with the 2 of them together and explore one of the most beautiful scenic worlds Life is Strange has ever executed.
And if we're kind of going off that though, because we are talking about an episodic video game, it left me wanting to know more, and I think that's the good thing. Like,
that's the best thing.
I want to know where the season goes, and I think we're going to be coming back here when maybe episodes 2 and 3 come in, maybe when 4 and 5 come out much later on next year.
Yeah.
Like, I have my problems with it. I still feel like there's some parts where it's maybe not as good as they think it is. But for the most part, I want to know where the story goes. I think it's maybe the strongest thing about the game.
Did you ever play the demo version of Captain Spirit?
I did not.
It's beautiful, and they do say that the choices that you make in that little demo really transcend across this franchise at the next episode here to see it will affect Daniel's behavior and the choices that he makes. And the best thing about the Don't Nod series of Life is Strange is that, like, Daniel's choices, Sean's choices as a big brother. So if he steals in a convenience store, then later in the story, Daniel will steal later. And I think it's like the ripple effect is really beautiful, and it's really engrossing the whole way through.
And again, we want to see where that goes. So big ups. I can't wait to see where it all goes in the next few episodes.
That's it.